Happy New Year. I hope you all had a great evening yesterday. It is the 1st of January and I'm going to go through what's going to be in my camera bag in 2024 and some explanation to why I have that gear. So first up, I'm going to start with my laptop, which is my workhorse. I edit all my videos on this. This is the MacBook Pro M1 Max. It's got a 64GB RAM and 2TB internal storage. To go along with this, I have an external SSD that I use, which is the Samsung T7 Shield. This is a 4TB, so together, while traveling, I have 6TB to play with. I have external hard drives that I use for backup, but this is my travel editing setup. I'll link obviously everything below. The go-to lens over the last year has been the 35-150 f2 to f2.8. Although, to be honest, I've never been a huge fan of Tamron lenses, but this focal range has been incredible to me. Being able to go and shoot cars, portraits, street photography, and be able to punch in from 35 all the way to 150 from one lens is actually really impressive, especially when I couple it with my other go-to lens, which is the 16-35 f2.8 G Master. So together I have everything from 16mm up to 150 just from these two lenses alone. So if you are a Sony shooter, I do highly recommend this setup because it's a very versatile setup to have super wide at 16 all the way to lovely punched in and compression at 150mm on the Tamron. The 85mm f1.4 from Samyang, and although it's very similar to the Sigma f1.4 85mm, the Sigma is a little bit smaller but a little bit heavier. The Sigma is better, a little bit better build quality because I believe it's metallic. This is very plasticky, but the Samyang 85mm f1.4 Mark II is a better build quality than the Mark I. The autofocus is better. The Mark I from Samyang was a little bit dated, wasn't very good with autofocus. It was okay and it did the job, but this never misses a beat and I've had it for a couple of years now and I very much like it. I say a couple of years, it's about a year and a half that I've had this. Moving on to my photo forward camera, this is the Sony A7RV and I absolutely love this camera. With the high megapixels, it means I can crop in if I need to in images, and for any commercial work that I do, it means that they get the highest possible quality. That's the only reason I bought this, but to be honest, when I do a comparison, thinking about the Sony A7 IV, which I had for just over a year, I would say that it's very similar, to be honest. You don't see a massive difference. If you look at the specs and you nitpick, then yes, you're going to see a difference. I don't think it's necessarily needed, and to be honest, I could still be surviving without this. It's more of a preference. So if your preference swings towards the A7R5 and you have the budget, I definitely think you should get it. But if you don't have the budget, then the A7 IV will do exactly the same. Moving on to my favorite camera from 2023 and will be my favorite camera going into 2024 is this. This is the Fujifilm X100v, and this gives me a lot more pleasure and a lot more fun to shoot with than my Sony A7R5. I love this camera, don't get me wrong, but this is just more raw. And I find myself taking way more photos when I'm using this, and the raw files from the Fujifilm is fantastic. I don't know if they're going to bring out a successor to this. I think it'd be hard to top this. I think there's a couple of things they could improve on, maybe with speed and functionality, maybe changing the autofocus a bit, but I love the clunkiness. There's a bit of clunkiness when you're moving around the dials, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful camera, and if you get a chance to pick one up, I do highly recommend them. Speaking of like authenticity and originality, I've just recently picked up one of my favorite cameras. I've had one before, but I sold it and I regretted it. Obviously not as small as this and definitely not pocket size, but this is the Bronica ETRS, which is a film camera. It's a medium format, takes 120 film. Now, I don't want to waste film, but for the sake of the video, just listen to this. How beautiful. It's you can't beat it. And there's something about walking around with this that just makes you feel like a photographer. I know that sounds silly because you're a photographer if you use a phone, you're a photographer if you use this or the X100v. But this, when I walk around with this, I just feel really nice. I don't know how to explain it. That's the best way I can explain it. I just feel really nice when I use a medium format like this. And I'm going to be doing some videos on this coming soon. So stick around for that for sure. So getting into some of the other bits, some of the accessories that I use, the microphones that I'm using right now, I have these, which is the DJI mics. They come in this neat little box, which also charges them, which is fantastic. There's one missing because I'm currently using it, but they're fantastic. And on top of the camera that I'm currently shooting on, I have the Sony shotgun mic, which is fantastic, and it does well when I'm doing vlogs and stuff like that. But for this type of thing, I just prefer, especially when there's some background noise, I prefer the lav setup that DJI offer, and they're fantastic, to be honest. I'll leave a link to these below. Everything that I'm talking about, there's a link below for you to go and check them out. So my POV setup, the camera that I use for any of my POV videos or anything like that, is this, which is the DJI Osmo Action 4, and it's fantastic. It shoots in D-Log, it allows me to color grade, it looks really nice, and it just suits my style of recording better. With that being said, I also have a GoPro 11 in the bag, which is equally as good, but the Action 4 just is a bit wider, and it's a personal preference for me. The mount that I use for my my POV setup is this. It is a snap mount. You can find them on Amazon, and essentially it's just a magnet. So the magnet separates, it's very strong. This side goes on the inside of your shirt, this side goes on the outside, and they snap together and it just sits there. It saves having all the straps for the chest harness and stuff like that. For other situations, I have this, which is a clip. So the Osmo sits on here, and then you can essentially you can clip that on anywhere you want and then have that as an angle. It's also magnetic, so if you want to stick it on anything, you can do that too. But that's just an added little bit that I use. Mostly if I want to do any bits to camera inside a car, I can clip it to the sun visor, and then I can talk to the camera in the car. So that's another nice little tip for accessories. The ND that I use, I have the VND from Polar Pro. I've been using this for a few years. It is a bit worn and tired and broken. As you can see, I have to keep mending it every now and then. So that's that. I need to get a new one, but that's what I've been using so far. And then this is my little SD card carry case, which has all my SD cards in there. I have a range of different SD cards, but this is the carry case that I use. And then this, which is nice, from DJI. It goes with the Osmo Action 4, and it's just a carry case for all of the batteries. So whenever I'm going out to do a minimalistic POV or shoot, I can just take these items here and I'm ready to go, and I can just take these in the pockets, bish bash bosh, no bag required. Whereas when I'm using the big film camera or the A7RV, then obviously I have to take a big camera bag and it becomes heavy, and one of the aims for 2024 is to carry less. The bag that I'm using is still the Wondrid bag. It's a fantastic bag, to be honest with you. It's got loads of little pockets. It's a nice design. I would personally get it in black. I've had this color now over a year, well, just under a year actually. And as you can see, it's, well, it's a bit dirty. It gets very dirty very quickly. So great bag. And then the last two things I'm going to show you is this. This is a Peak Design clip. If you don't have a Peak Design clip, I highly recommend them. It just allows you to clip your camera on there when you're walking around doing your videos or photos or whatever. And that means that you can have your hands free, eat some food, and then carry on shooting, etc. The drone for 2024 is no longer going to be the Mini 3 Pro. It's going to be this, which is the Mavic 3 Pro. And the reason I did that is because this has 3 lenses, and they're all fantastic. I've done a few test flights already with this, and it just looks incredible. When you do a comparison, there is, to be honest, no comparison. One is basically like a cinema camera, and one is like a Instagram camera, if you would. The Plus side to the Mini 3 Pro is it shoots in vertical. So obviously for socials it's good, but I would rather just have this and get high quality images that I can maybe crop in. It's personal preference, and it's kind of like the direction I want to go in this year. But we'll see how we go. That might change. I'll do an update halfway through the year. Now I do have another lens on me at the moment. It is the 7200 f2.8 from Sigma. Obviously this is a new release from Sigma. It's nice and lightweight, very nice build quality. You've got a ton of optional dials on the side, and you've got a manual aperture ring as well, which, to be honest, I really like this. It's on loan from Sigma. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I just asked if I could do a video on it. They were like, yeah, sure, I'll send it out to you. I like it so far. I'm going to do a video on it soon before it goes back. And I highly recommend it. So far, I love it. I don't know if I would get rid of the 35 to 150 for the 7200. It is about similar weight, but you get more range with the 35 to 150 than you do from the 7200. So I think the 35 will win it over for me, but we'll see. I haven't done a full video on it. We'll see how I feel after that. The camera that I'm shooting on at the moment is the Sony FX3, and I have the 12 to 24 millimeter f2.8 Dji Master lens on there. The reason I'm using that is because I like that cinematic quality it can give me, the build quality. I'm going to use that as a video camera, especially for client work. I don't know if it's going to stick around for long. I might be getting rid of it. Let me know if you're interested. I'm looking at selling it for around £2,350 roughly. If you are interested, let me know in the comments. Possibly able to ship it worldwide, but it depends. You'll have to pay for shipping. I might sell it, I might not. I'm trying to debate. I don't know if I need all of this gear. It's a current conversation, and I'll update you as we go. If you have any questions at all about this gear, or any questions about gear that you're potentially thinking about getting, let me know in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. With that being said, I hope you've had a good new year. I hope you have a great rest of the year. Create more, stress less, and I'll see you in the next one.